What's up, guys? Chris over here at Cover 7. Hey, real quickly, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's liked, commented, and subscribed to the channel. It goes a long ways on a small channel like mine. I don't claim to be a college football expert. I do love college football, though. My favorite team happens to be the team that got bent over a barrel this last weekend by Minnesota. That would be Nebraska. But look, that's why I'm covering two teams here today in the Big Ten, and I know what you guys are thinking. What would anyone possibly bet in this game? Well, I think I found an edge here. I'll go through both teams really quickly, give my thoughts, and I'll tell you my bet at the end of this video. So with that being said, guys, let me know down in the comments what you like in this game, who you think's winning this game. Now, I know Michigan's a big favorite here by 2 touchdowns. It is on the road at Michigan State. The over-under set to 47.5. Like I said, I know there's a big discrepancy here as far as these two teams, but this game historically is a rivalry. I actually personally, as a Big Ten fan in general, love watching these two play each other just because they strictly hate each other. I think it's awesome. I'm one of those people. I love two teams when they don't like each other. I love it a lot, actually. It's almost probably a problem. With that being said, we'll dig into Michigan. Pretty good season so far this year for Michigan. They're 5-2. The two losses to two pretty good teams here. Oklahoma is a pretty good football team. They really are with a good defense. They lost to USC a couple weeks ago, which I was really shocked. I had to reevaluate what my thoughts were on USC after that game. I think Michigan fans wish they could play them again. I think that outcome would probably be a little different. USC fans will disagree with me, but that's okay. But they did have a big win over Washington this past weekend. I like Washington. You can laugh at me in the comments section, but I actually think Washington's a pretty good team. I like Jed Fish as a head coach in year 2 there. I actually think Washington will be a pretty damn good team next year. So with that being said, big win, though, 24-6, I believe it was, for Michigan this past weekend. Here's the problem with Michigan. We've talked about it, and a lot of people are harping on Bryce Underwood. My thoughts, honestly, guys, with this kid, I actually think he's okay. I'm not one of these people on the internet that think he's dog shit. I actually think he's been okay. I don't know what people expect, and I get the expectations are through the roof with this kid, what he was getting paid, highly touted he was out of high school. I get all that. I have Dylan Raiola as my quarterback, and he's in year 2. Bryce Underwood looks the same, and he's in year 1 here. I'm not giving him a pass. He could probably play better at times. He's struggled a little bit with accuracy, but that's every freshman. The peaks and the valleys, man. I think he's been playing okay. His yards on the year are 1,400 yards. He's got a 62.4% completion rate, 7 touchdowns, which isn't great. Not, stat popping on the paper here, but he's only got 2 picks. It's not like he's turning the ball over 15 times. So, like I said, I can live with that if I'm Michigan. The other thing he does do really well, because he's a freak athlete, he can run. He's got 3 touchdowns rushing on the year as well. What makes this offense go, though, and a guy that I'm super high on, if you guys follow the channel at all, is Justice Haynes. I believe he's one of the top 3 backs in the country. I'd put Jeremiah Love up there from Notre Dame. I'd also stick Ahmed Hardy from Missouri in this discussion as well. But this kid is averaging north of 7 yards per carry, which is crazy. He's got 8 total touchdowns. The big question is, though, with Haynes is he playing this game? I know he got banged up against USC, didn't play last week. So last I checked, he's questionable. No problem, though, if you're Michigan, no, right? Jordan Marshall, boy, this kid is no scrub either. Dude put up 25 carries, 133 yards, and 1 touchdown versus a pretty decent Washington defense. This kid looked really, really good. No shock to me. Michigan has always had great running backs in my lifetime. No surprise there. Here's the other thing. The wide receiver room. It's got to be better. I almost feel like this is like Groundhog's Day with Michigan every year, the past how many seasons. They really lack an explosive wide receiver or a big-time possession receiver or even a guy that can take the top off. Last year, Colston Loveston was their best receiver, and he happened to be their tight end. Zach Marshall, decent tight end, had a good game this past weekend versus Washington. But where are the wide receivers, man? What is going on? I know they are they either lead the country or they're up there in drops on the year. They like I said, they struggle to make explosive plays or get separation on the defender. It's almost been like a rinse and repeat thing here for Michigan on the outside. So that's got to get better. I would think that they would bring somebody in the portal this coming season or at the end of the year going into next year where maybe you can get a guy that's a veteran receiver that can help this group out. So with that being said, where Michigan makes its money here is on defense. These guys have been elite, like Michigan having a great running back every single year. They always have a great defense. No shock to me. As far as the ranks go, they're 24th in total defense on the year. They only allow less than 17 points per game, which is 17th best in the nation. Really, no much more I can add here. Like I said, Michigan always has an elite level, top 10 defense. No shock to me. Okay, let's talk about Michigan State. Now, I know people are pointing and laughing. They're 3-4. They've lost 4 in a row. I believe it's been USC, Nebraska, UCLA, and Indiana. 3 of those 4 teams are pretty good, except for Nebraska. So I'm going to put UCLA better than Nebraska right now, if you guys caught that. Anyway, the offense, though, has sucked of late. It's been really bad. Aiden Childs, who I like, I actually think he's a pretty good quarterback. If you've watched Michigan State as much as I have this year, he isn't the problem. He's got decent numbers, over 1,200 yards. He's got a 65.1% completion rate, 10 touchdowns, just the 3 interceptions. I believe he threw 2 against Nebraska. The issue here is the offensive line. He's been sacked 18 times. On top of that, they cannot run the football at all. A lot of that is on the O-line, like my Huskers. They don't have an O-line. It doesn't exist, it seems like. They're 106 in the country in rushing yards per game. The wide receiver room, I like Nick Marsh. I like Omari Kelly. I actually think these two are solid receivers, but when you're forced to throw the ball 70% of the time, your QB is running for his life. It's going to be tough sledding going forward, and that's what it's been for Michigan State on offense. As far as the defense goes, it's been a little bit better. Again, these are skewed because Michigan State, their defense is on the field a majority of the time. They're 88th in total defense, 52nd versus the run. They do struggle against the pass. They're sitting 109th in the country currently. They also give up over 32 points per game. Okay, with all that being said about the two teams and the big mismatch here, how am I betting this? I'll be honest, guys. I like Michigan State's team total under 17.5 if you can get it. I really think Michigan State is going to have a hell of a time scoring touchdowns in this game. I'll be shocked if they get to 14, to be honest. I think they may get a couple field goals in this game. I know this game is usually a hard-fought, physical, personal foul type of game. I get all that, but I just don't see any way they can score over 14 points in this game. I really don't. Maybe a defensive touchdown or something like that, but Underwood does a good job of protecting the ball. Michigan is going to chew up the clock because they can run it. Like I said, Michigan, I think after the USC game, in my opinion, I know it's a small sample size here, I think they got their shit together defensively since that game. So as far as a lean in this game on the spread, I really think that's probably about right. It wouldn't shock me if Michigan State loses this game somewhere along the lines of a 24-13 or something like that. Maybe Michigan blows them out. I don't know. I just don't see Michigan State putting up points. So with that being said, guys, I got a couple more got a couple more videos coming out this week. I do appreciate all the support. The channel has done really well, and this is a lot of credit to you guys. So I truly, truly appreciate that. With that being said, guys, we'll see you next time.